Hi, I'm Luann from Rockin Book Reviews, and I'm delighted today to introduce M.K. McClintock. She is a favorite of mine, and I have enjoyed reading her series for years now. M.K., you enjoy writing mystery series. I have discovered on the internet that you're a mystery, and could you tell us a little bit about your life, namely where you grew up and how many siblings and so forth?
I've heard that before, that I'm a little bit of a mystery, and it's purposely done. I'm so internet shy when it comes to that sort of thing. I did grow up in Southern California, and when I was very young, my family moved to the Rocky Mountains, and I've been pretty much in love with the whole stretch of Rocky Mountain region ever since. And after high school, we moved up to Montana, and I've went on a lot of adventures, but I've called it home for many years, and I just love it here. Have a few siblings. Won't name them because they won't like that. We're a very creative family, though, so it's kind of I've got a woodworker, interior designer, and builder, and so it's just a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm terrible when it comes to talking about myself. I really am. I like talking about my pets.
It's good to be private, but when you're so famous as you are, it's hard to stay that way. So, and you do live, sounds like you've always had beautiful country around you.
I have. Where I live has always been a really big deal for me. I like serene places. I like being surrounded by quiet, by nature. I've visited cities before. When I was young, I lived closer to cities, but I've always been a country girl, and I like the mountains. And if I can't walk outside my house and, in less than 5 minutes be at the mountains or in the mountains, then I live too far away. So yes, that's how I've always enjoyed living.
I've been that way most of my life, but then I married a man from Florida, and I decided I just like the ocean as much as I do the mountains.
I do enjoy the ocean. I like rocky coasts. I've been to Maine a number of times while I was out in New England, and I love the Maine coast. I had a lot of fun along the Maine coast, and that kind of ocean I really like being around. The sandy beaches, not quite as much, but the rocky cliffs and the cloudy skies and that nice, cold, mysterious feeling, I really like that.
I can understand. I understand your feelings totally. Okay, reflect back on a couple of times in your life, a couple of instances that you feel has had a strong impact on who you are today.
Oh goodness. Every year has added to how I've changed. One of the things when I was going to culinary school, I was down in Arizona, and I was working at a Marriott where there were a lot of international workers, and there were a number of people from Ireland, and I had the wonderful pleasure of meeting a couple of Irish men and women who became great friends, and one of them now owns a fabulous restaurant. He's a chef in Belfast. And I didn't know him for very long, but those were some of the best and most wonderful relationships and friendships I had ever formed. And being exposed to the culture, and it was just really, really wonderful. And I think a lot about me changed after that point. I don't know what exactly, but it did have quite an impact on how I looked at a lot of things, was getting to know them. So, and that was probably one of the larger ones. There are others, but they're all very personal. So
I can understand. We have to keep some things to ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Your blog states that you are a writer, post, photographer, post photographer, seeker, and dreamer. Explain that statement.
Well, I'm also a fickle person who can't always make up their mind about what they are. I started writing poetry long before I started writing stories of any kind, and so I've always considered myself kind of a poet. And I got a little bit more into it the last, I don't know, 10 years. And so I'm a poet, and obviously I'm a writer or an author. That's my main thing that I love to do. Photography has always been something that it relaxes me. I mostly because usually when I'm taking the pictures, I'm out in nature where I'm always happiest. And so that's something I do, and put them on canvas and frames. And so I do that as well. And then the dreamer and seeker, I've always been both. I've always sought knowledge and beautiful things and beautiful people, and the dreaming, I think, goes hand in hand a lot of times with being an author. It's our wild imaginations. So yeah, I'm a lot of things, but mostly because I can't always figure out what I want to be.
Well, I don't think that's all bad.
No, I can think of worse things.
It adds adventure and
It
learning
does.
to life.
It does.
Okay, and how profound of effect in the experiences in your life has had on your writing? I didn't say that very well.
That's okay. I understood what you meant. Some have quite a bit, and others haven't. I've actually put people that I've known in my life, especially in my earlier books, a lot of personality traits from people who have been very close to me, especially the Gallaghers. Their personalities really went into the Gallaghers, the three main men. So a lot of people that I've known, obviously where I live has played a big part in what I write. A lot of my books are set in Montana or the Rocky Mountains, and I've lived here for so long that it's so easy to make it a part of the stories. And I've been to Scotland, so those experiences helped with the British Agent books. And so I think a lot of times, unless you're writing some, paranormal and fantasy for unrealistic places and settings, I think a lot of authors draw from what they know and their life experiences. At least for me, when I do that, it helps me relate to the characters better because I can see myself, in their shoes, living their lives. And so I'd say just about everything that I've gone through in life in some way or another makes it into my books.
Now that's kind of exciting to know some of these guys in the Gallaghers are actually live.
Yeah, the personality traits for Ethan, Gabriel, and especially were based on a combination of personality traits from three different men that have been good friends in my life. So
that's great.
They're kind of real people, I guess, in a way.
They feel real. The way you write is amazing.
So they're very real to me.
Okay. Except you said that you most of your series are from places you've lived in, but you've not lived in Britain with your British series, have you?
No, I visited Scotland, and that's where that kind of came from. Okay. And the Ireland and England part came from people who I know have either lived there or spent time there. So the Scotland one, the second British agent book is set largely in Scotland, and so I drew on that for a lot of those. But yeah, I try to write a lot of where I've been or at least visited. It kind of gives it a realness to it for me.
Well, in fact, it sounds authentic when you're reading it. So.
Well, then I've done my job.
Okay. Okay, how much, that leads into the next question. Well, how much time and effort do you put in your research for your mystery and suspense books?
A lot goes into a lot of research goes into it. The historical only because you do your best to make them, even though you're writing fiction and you're making up a lot of stuff, you still want the historical aspects of it to be accurate. For the places in Montana, even though I live here, all the Westerns, I did have to still do a lot of research because Montana, 2005 or 2017 is different than Montana 1865 and 1890. Right. So there's still a lot of research to do, but a lot of what is researched doesn't actually make it into the books. It just kind of adds to the general knowledge, and that helps, form the story and the characters and the setting. So, but there's a lot of research. I'd say probably 2 hours of research for every hour of writing.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it gets less. The first few Gallagher books that I wrote took a lot more research, but as you get on, you already have that, the knowledge of that same time period. So yeah, you don't have to do as much as you write, but yeah, on average, I probably spend 2 hours of research to every 1 hour of writing.
Wow.
Yeah. And some books it's half that, but yeah, a lot of research. I like the research though, so.
Awesome. I do too. But I'm usually odd, so. I used to debate things with my teachers, and if I didn't feel like I won the debate, I'd go research it out and with the footnotes and everything and hand them the paper just cause.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Have you?
Yeah. Not usually with teachers, but I have with other people where it'll get into a debate of who's right and who's wrong, and I don't like to be wrong.
I don't either. So. I don't know if that's good or not. Anyway, what are the key differences between your historical mystery and romance and your British Agent series?
Well, the main difference is obviously the settings. The British Agents are the romantic mysteries, and then the other series are all Western romance, and they do have elements of mystery, the Gallaghers do anyway. The other Western series that I have, Crooked Creek and Whitcomb Springs, they don't have the mystery elements like the other stories do. But the main differences are the settings, really. Settings and time periods. So they're all Victorian era for the most part, but the settings are the big difference between the books.
I noticed that with the two Western series, but of course I like them all. But I have not yet read any of your Whitcomb Springs. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, they just started coming out this year, so they're fairly new. And I'm writing a series with 3 other authors, Samantha St. Clair, Christy Corbett, and Lynn Winchester. And Samantha and I have put out 2 stories each, and Christy and Lynn have so far put out each 1 story. And Whitcomb Springs, it was an idea I had a couple years ago, and it just took a little time to get the right authors together to put it together. But it's a fictional town, as they all are. Takes place immediately following the American Civil War, and it's set in the town of Whitcomb Springs, Montana Territory. And it's actually a lot of fun. The first book that I wrote was the introductory story, and it introduces the founders of the town and how everything came about. And it's just, these are real feel-good stories. They might have, a little adventure, and they've got some of that going on, but they're real feel-good. They're for all audiences, and we're writing them in a way because we want people to walk away from reading the stories and think, wow, that's just a really nice feeling that I have from reading that. These characters are courageous. I can't speak. They're courageous and strong and kind, and you've got some humor mixed in with some of the stories, and some adventure and some action, but they're meant to be just real heartwarming, feel-good stories.
So are they written as standalone, since the three of you are writing
they
them?
they are short stories, and there will probably be a few novellas in the series as well. It's kind of an ongoing thing. But they can be read in any order, and it was, even though they're set in the same town, we're very organized with the characters and everything. So you could come in and read the first story set in 1865, and then turn around and read another author's story set in 1885, and you won't have missed anything because they are standalone, even though they're set in the same town with some of the same people.
So how long have you been writing the Whitcomb series?
Just a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first stories, they just came out this spring, and we have more coming out this summer, and more at Christmas, and so it's just going to be an ongoing series.
Do you feel the other two authors would be willing to meet with you on Zoom with me and do a...
3 authors, and I can certainly ask them.
That would be so much fun. We could do that and head off the fall.
I will certainly ask them.
Okay, I'd love to do that. So we'll be looking forward, hoping it'll happen. Okay, what other is your next big project that you're working on?
Well, I am working on the next Gallagher book right now, book 6 in the series. And if they've read the first books, they would know who Colton Dawson is. And he is a ranch hand that works at the Hawks Peak Ranch. And he's wonderful, and he deserved his own story. So he gets a story, and his story is the one I'm working on now. And the heroine in that story has a connection to another character or two in the series. But I'm not actually going to say it, because I like to keep that kind of stuff close until I'm ready to reveal it. But that's the story I'm working on now, and I'm also working on another Whitcomb story, and Bridget. I really can't talk today. A British agent.
Normal for me, though.
Christmas novella, and so I've got those 3 projects in the works, and then 2019 I'll be working on the 2 Crooked Creek novels to finish out that series.
Super.
So lots going on.
Yeah, staying busy as always.
Yep.
So do you have any final comments you'd like to make before we close?
No, just how much I absolutely love writing, and it's very heartwarming to know that the stories are being read, and they're being, they're touching the lives of people and giving giving readers a few hours of pleasure, and that's always wonderful. It's just it's nice to be able to share something that I love so much with others and have them enjoy it. So thank you.
Well, like I said, I've totally enjoyed your writing. So, and I understand you have a special offer for our listeners for the June Marathon YouTube giveaway.
Yes, for your June Marathon YouTube giveaway. It's a winner's choice of whatever book they want from my entire collection. And in addition to that, there will be a surprise gift prize that goes along with their choice of book. And you don't get to know now because it's a surprise.
That's right. Well, that sounds fantastic.
But yeah, winner's choice of any book that they want, in addition to the little surprise gift.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. That is exciting. And we'll be having the rafflecopter in the 30th of June. So after that, we'll find out who our winner is.
Sounds great. Should be fun.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, believe me, it was my pleasure. Okay, and this is Luann signing off for Rockin' Book Reviews. And again, thank you, MK McClintock, for this wonderful interview and for offering such a wonderful giveaway. And we encourage you to explore the universe through reading and books. And we'll say goodbye for now. Goodbye.
Bye.